In this video I'm going to be reviewing a game called Hand of Fate. Now, a lot of people have actually heard of Hand of Fate, and I actually know quite a lot of people who haven't heard of Hand of Fate. Hand of Fate is quite a unique game. Some would say it's an action RPG, but some would say it's a card game. Now, it's kind of a mixture of both. It's not really an action RPG, but it's not really a card game. And the main mechanics of the game work around cards. I wouldn't say it's a card game. The game is basically hosted by the dealer, who is the man sitting opposite you on the chair. And he's an interesting figure. He's really the only character you kind of meet in the game who has like a persona.
Come now, hurry up. We don't have forever.
Yeah, he's kind of the only character who you meet, and you don't really know anything about him. He's a mysterious character. Now, he sort of deals the cards out, but the deck is essentially yours. You build it, but he adds in his own cards into the deck, just to keep things interesting, because obviously if it was just your cards, you could make it really easy, and he makes it so the deck's really hard to play. Now, the way you unlock cards is by playing matches, and you get these tokens. Tokens are basically like little booster packs where you keep unlocking new cards. Now, the thing with the game is, as you see on screen, this is how you really play. You are like a little figure, and you move from card to card, and every time you move from card, you'll lose one piece of food, and you need a piece of food to advance. If you don't, every time you advance, you lose some health. Now, the food helps you regain health, so every time you move along, you gain health, but you lose food. Different situations happen. You run across these encounter cards, which are the cards you step on, and they do different things. Some of them can be helpful, some can be unhelpful, really unbeneficial, but some could be beneficial and give you health. You can't really play without a sword or a shield, so to start with, you'll have these scenarios where you can go get a sword and a shield. I don't really know if it's possible to fail those situations or not, because I haven't. What I mean is, every time you have a scenario, you usually have like a choice of doing something, and if you do that choice, you get given the option to pick a card, and for a card you pick, you'll either get a success or a fail. Now, the chances can vary on what these effects are and what they're not, because if you have like a really good opportunity, you'll most likely have less success rate and a higher failure rate. That's just to kind of keep the game interesting. Now, the game isn't too hard in difficulty, not to start with, and it's really fun as well. It kind of gets you hooked on, and then as you play more and more, it'll get more difficult, which, I don't know, it kind of motivates you to play more, but the difficulty curve is kind of interesting, because all of a sudden it just gets really difficult. Like, the first two levels are really simple, and the third just throws things at you and it gets really hard. There's these angry mobs as well. They're really annoying. I'm not going to spoil what they do, because that's for you to figure out when you play the game, and I feel like they're an important sort of aspect of the game. But yeah, the thing with Hand of Fate is the combat. Now, the combat's really unique, and I want to kind of talk about that. The combat of the game, it's not what you'd expect. You find a card that brings a situation up, makes you go into combat. You'll get sent to this loading screen, and your character will load as a card, and then all the equipment you have on will also load as a card on top. Now, the same happens with your enemies, the monsters that you fight. You fight in a 3D world, which is really cool, especially for a game like this, and it's really good because it's like, the game is based like Dungeons and Dragons, and that's one of the things I love about it, but at the same time, it sort of brings the world to life. Now, the thing is, a lot of people have issues with combat because they think it's like an Arkham style combat and it shouldn't really fit in this game, but I personally love it. I feel like it fits perfect and I enjoy it, but I also don't think it's like Arkham combat. I feel like it's more of an Assassin's Creed 2 kind of combat, where it does have counters, and counters are quite predominant, and that's how you fight, but at the same time, mistiming counters can be very fatal, because you're going to have loads of enemies who are hitting you at the same time, and it just kind of puts the pressure on you. You have to know when to counter correctly. There's some moves you really can't counter, so you have to dodge out of the way, and it just kind of mixes things up. I think it's really, honestly interesting. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the dealer himself. It's just the little things in the game that make it interesting, like the way he deals his cards, the way he throws them out. It's really cool. It just feels magical, and even his character, I think what they were trying to do with this game is make it feel like you're actually sitting there with the dealer, and I think they did that really well. I didn't think it would work, honestly, I didn't.
All causes turn to rotten enterprise. You may win this battle and send the Queen to her rightful end, yet
until I play the game. There are some frame rate issues with the combat, but it's not that often, and it only really happens sometimes. It was a lot worse, I think last year or so, with PC, unlike console, because I think it was more optimized for console at the time. As you'll see, when you get new cards, you have a choice and you advance on levels, and I'll explain the level system a bit later, like how you advance in the story. As you get new cards, you can build your deck and add new cards. Now that works is you have like your own binder of cards you have collected. You can actually add cards into the encounter deck, which I think is really cool. So you can make it more difficult for yourself, and you can also add equipment card, so you can put worse equipment in to make it even harder, which I don't know why you would really do, but you can. And then the dealer will make it even harder. With the decks, when you have certain levels, you can go into the levels and you can have the dealer, you can have him make the recommended deck for you. Now, I really enjoy this because I don't want to spend time making my own deck. I just want to kind of get in the game and finish the campaign as soon as possible. Then I want to go on and play the endless mode after that with my own custom decks that I build. As I was saying, I'll talk about the levels. So the level system's kind of cool, the way you advance on. There's no real story in the game. It's like every single card you go on has its own individual story. They're all like little tiny adventures, and you keep going from one adventure to another from one stage until you beat the boss, and then you get moved on to the next level, which is essentially you picking the next boss, and then you fight through different cards till you get to the next floor, and you keep doing that until you find the boss again, and it just goes like that. And it sounds kind of redundant and boring, but it's not, because it gets harder, and as you get stronger, your enemies kind of get stronger. They learn new powers, and they get more weapons and artifacts which they can use to fight. Now the reason I'm saying it's kind of interesting is because I think it would be boring if you like really overpowered and everyone else was really weak. But in this, you feel like at the beginning you feel overpowered, and then as you keep going, you start to feel like you're underpowered and everyone else is overpowered, and you start getting overpowered with characters. Now, I personally found the first two adventures easy, and then the third one just absolutely destroyed me. I died once, and then I completed it, but it was really difficult. That's kind of really it about the adventures. There's no real story. It's just kind of keeping up the adventure, keep going and getting till the end. As I was saying, after you finish the campaign, you can play endless mode, which is essentially you play until you die, which is when you either run out of food or run out of health. With the story, you only play to an extent, but with endless mode, you literally play until you die. There could possibly be no end, which is why it's called endless mode, obviously. But you could get as far as possible, and it just proves how good you are at the game. It just proves how much progress you made from the beginning. It's one of those games that you may think has no replayability after you played the campaign, but then you realize, oh, the whole game is just like a replay, and you don't get bored of it. So it's a really good game. I think the way the developers execute it is brilliant, and I love the combat, even though some people say it doesn't fit with the game. I love the graphics. Some people don't think they're that good, but I think they're perfect, especially the capture of the dealer. Now, the dealer's personality is actually one of the things that keeps me playing the game, and it's one of the things I really enjoy about the game. I think the second game has been announced, Hand of Fate 2 has been announced, and I'm happy to see the same dealer in the game. I'd kind of be upset if he wasn't. Just the remarks he makes are kind of funny. Even like when you start taking ages to make a movie, he makes these funny remarks like, although this is the game of eternity, I didn't expect you to take forever to make a move. That's really all I want to talk about with Hands of Fate and what I think about the game itself. This was more of like a serious review on the game itself, and that's because I've been hooked on it for a few weeks, and it's just amazing, and I just wanted to let people know that what I think about it. And if people have had doubts on wanting to get the game, I highly recommend it. I think it's really good. It's also on Steam sale. When I got it, it was like £3, so that's not that bad. I'd recommend picking this game up if you're looking for either a card game, board game, Dungeons and Dragons style game, or action RPG. Again, with the demographic, I think it's mainly aimed at people who like D&D, people who like card games. I don't really think it's aimed at the general casual gamer public. Now, that's just a personal opinion, and it doesn't mean the game's bad at all. It just means that that's what the developers were going for from what I can perceive, and I think it worked well, especially since it made me enjoy the game. It made me want to play it and made me want to keep going just to see how good I was, just to see how far I could get. And even with the same cards or with newer cards, it just never gets boring. Those are just my personal opinions on the game, what I think about it, what I feel about it, and just a general overview about what the game is about. Again, if you played the game, if you have your own opinions, let me know in the comments below. If you agree with me or disagree with me on anything I've said, let me know. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and again, I'll see you guys next time.